So before we start this video, I just have to go ahead and say this is several days later. We're currently in Ohio, probably 2 weeks later. But after recording this, I just wanted to put this in the front of my video. This video is going to be very long. I apologize. I hope y'all can stick around for it though, because I make a lot of good points and it really strikes a nerve into the trucking industry. So get your popcorn ready and please watch the whole video. It would truly mean a lot. If you care about trucking, if you care about the state of trucking, please stick around, like, subscribe, and thanks for watching, y'all. And put your comments down below on what you think. Like I said, several days later, but thanks for watching, y'all. So we're sitting here, we're about to take off, and it's been brought to my attention that there is something down here. I saw it last night, but I have to show y'all in person. So let's go find out. I kind of want to stop and go over there. It's literally a giant green giant. He overshadows the house. That's the coolest thing. There you go, guys. Giant green giant statue. That is so cool. Yeah, so we are currently in, if you guys want to see it for yourself, bring yourselves on down 90, Blue Earth, Minnesota. Coolest city name, one of the coolest city names I've ever seen. So it's about 140 miles or so outside of Sioux Falls, South Dakota. So we haven't actually been over here yet. So we're heading to the Loves. We tried to do a 34. It doesn't line up well. I'm not going to be late when I got hours to drive, so 34 can have to wait. I know about 20 miles up the road, there's a Walmart that people were raving about. So we're going to go stop at the Walmart. I don't know, everyone keeps raving about South Dakota. They're building up a high standpoint here. Everyone keeps telling me South Dakota's awesome. But we're going to go ahead and just start a time lapse for y'all. Highway is open, as you can see. So yeah, we're going to go ahead and we're going to start a time lapse for a little bit. We're going to go think of 4 more things that annoy truck drivers. So, as you guys can see, it is pretty remote out here on 90. There's not much out here, y'all. It's pretty blank. It's pretty dull. Currently 100 miles, 98 miles from South Dakota. I thought this would be a good time to bring in number 2 of things that's hard about being a truck driver / being annoying about a truck driver. I'd have to say the number 2 thing, at least for me, may not be for everybody, but I'd say most truckers out there. This job isn't for the faint of heart. We had the first one was traffic. The second one is definitely going to be just being on the road. Away from friends, family. You don't really do much with family, friends. You don't have a social life. For me, that's not a big deal because, I don't really like people. I've always been kind of a small space character. You know, smaller the space, the better. Being a truck driver for me, it doesn't affect me, but that's why you see so many truck drivers getting into this game thinking it's all butterflies and rainbows when it's not. You know, you don't get to see your friends, you don't get to see your family. You know, people end up in divorce. People end up, you know, losing kids. People end up losing, you know, houses and relationships and cars, and, you know, just your whole life is basically uprooted. People miss you. They wonder, when are you coming home, you know? So it's like the overall life of a truck driver. Yeah, it can be rewarding, but it can be very difficult being away from home. You need a support system. If you ain't got a support system, there's no way you can do this job. Unless you're just, you know, one of these super truckers out here that's just like, screw everything in life. You know, you have to have a passion to drive truck, y'all. Don't get out here thinking that it's all butterflies and rainbows with, you know, ice cream and sugar plums on top, because it's not. Like, this job is very demanding. It's very lonely. You might talk to 4 or 5 people a day. You know, because life at home, it keeps going whether you're there or not. Imagine you die, okay? Your life at home, I know that's gruesome, but your life at home is going to keep going on. The things that were going on before you were there, while you were there, are going to keep going on. People still have appointments, people still go to work, you know. So, you know, life goes on, man. Like, it's up to you to be strong enough to be out here, to have the will and the fight to make it happen. And now a little bit of a backstory on me. What you see out this window right now is the reason why I drive truck, y'all. Seeing things that are unexplored. Seeing things that, you know, are new. Seeing things, you know, like I said, I've seen more things in 4 years than, you know, most people see their entire life. Like I said, when I worked with MTI, I didn't get a paycheck for, you know, 3 weeks. I still drove truck, y'all. I just enjoy being out here. Even as a kid, I did not like to be home. I have that wondrous, adventurous spirit, and can't believe that I get paid to stare out this window and see things every day. Not office material. But at the same time, it takes a mind on you mentally. You know, not being at home with your family, you know, seeing your moms, your dads, your brothers, your sisters, your kids, your wife, your husbands. There's, you know, there's girl truckers out here too. You know, we all have a why. And I gotta ask you, what's your why on why you're out here? Because, you know, if you ain't got a why, it ain't gonna make it. You know, there's been some famous YouTubers out here, you know, they get into the game, you know, they make a bunch of subscribers and then they bounce. Ride with Dave was one of them. I saw was back, you know, truck driving locally because, you know, and he'll tell you first thing, I'm sure, Alex, you know, he disappeared. So it's like, you can't just come out here and expect to be like, hey, you know, like I almost quit. Like I never even really brought it up, but like a year and a half ago, you know, I went through, about the time I was with the USA, I went through a very mental hard time where it was like a breaking point, man. Like life at home got rough and like things just went off the rails. Like things, like I went bad down like mentally because like, you know, things just were going wrong everywhere I looked, and you know, a lot of it was self-inflicted. But you know, you have to have a support system. Lucky for me, I have a very supporting wife. You know, a supporting family. You know, so it allows me to do. You know, I'm sure they don't like it all the time. You know, but if your family isn't in your pocket and they don't support you on doing this, it's going to make your life even more difficult. It's going to make it even harder. But I'd say that's one of the most number 2 difficult things about being away from home. being away from family. With that being said, we're going to go right into number 3 because we got this beautiful Minnesota backdrop. Number 3 most difficult thing about being a truck driver has to be the lack of respect that we get on the road. You know, a lot of people think that truck drivers are dumb, that we're fat, we're lazy, you know, that we probably didn't even go to college. And that is certainly not true. They're all stereotypes. I hate the stigma, I hate the stereotype, because it goes back to number 2. We're sacrificing away to be away from our families, to put food on this country's table, to be the backbone of this country. Nothing moves in this country without truck drivers, and I think as a society we've become accustomed to just showing up to stores and being like, oh, there's food here. Oh, this grill I have is here. You know, this corn showed up. This paper's here. Let me buy some paper. People don't understand the true magnitude of the supply chain unless you're actually part of the supply chain. You know, and we got a lot of praise during COVID. Mind you, I wasn't driving truck during COVID. But in a general consensus, you know, people cutting us off. And not every shipper and receiver's like this, but, you know, a good chunk of them, you know, we show up, you know, we're only allowed to drive 11 hours a day, 14 hours in a day, work time. And then they let us sit on these docks when we have an appointment, when we got to get down the road. I can't do a 34 right now because of a receiver. I couldn't find a trailer for a whole day, which ultimately got me stuck in the mud. Previous video. The people that I'm bringing this to, they don't care that I couldn't find a trailer. They want their product. They put it in order. It's like, you know, having an excuse from the Amazon delivery guy why you didn't get your teddy bear or whatever it was that you ordered on Amazon today. You got it a day late, or you came late from the outside the window. How pissed would you guys be? Think of that. They don't care that that delivery driver had to drive through mud, a tornado, a hurricane, an earthquake. The package got lost and then they had to go find it because a giraffe stole it in the middle of fucking Iowa. They don't care. That's a speech. I'm sorry. I used to be a FedEx driver. But like, all they care about is their package being at their doorstep. And not every shipper and receiver's like that. The one I picked up from, they were like that, you know. But I don't know about this place I'm going, but you know, they want their stuff. They expect it there at 9:45 Monday. I drove 600 miles yesterday, ran my clock out, and you know, we got about, you know, 10-ish hours. You know, we're running recap, so it is what it is, y'all. Like, I can't do a 34 and show up to a place 2 hours late. You know, it's not right. I care about my customers. You know, I care about, you know, what the companies think when, you know, I show up to their doorstep and I bring them their stuff, because I know I have a sense of pride that the paper rolls in this truck, what is it going to make in this country? But, you know, just there is some shippers and receivers out there where they just, you know, you show up and you sit there for 5 hours or longer, you know, when we got a clock, and, you know, we'll get into that in a minute. You know, shippers and receivers can definitely make this job harder. Number 4 things about being difficult / hard on a truck driver, and that's going to have to probably be the e-logs. It goes to step 2 or 3. You know, with the shippers and the receivers, you know, E-Logs, and mind you, that's all I know. That's all I know. E-Logs broke trucking. Everyone runs on a clock. The clock says, hey, you can drive now. It don't care that you just spent 9 hours at a shipper and you're in a split sleeper and it's 3 o'clock in the morning. It's time to drive, even though you can't drive. And unfortunately, I refuse as myself to operate that way. But there are a lot of truck drivers out there that will just say, hey, I have to drive now because this clock says I have 8 hours to drive, so I got to drive. And that is why we see so many accidents on the road. And I know the FMCSA, when they created this, it was not intended to be that way. When the FMCSA created the E-Logs, they wanted so carriers couldn't take advantage of what it was they were doing. It used to be where, from what I've been told, you drive for 5 hours, you sleep for a little while, and then, you drive some more, and then maybe you go to, sightsee a little bit, but it wasn't just, go. Me, personally, if I have extra time, you've seen it on this channel. I've been to Meteor Crater, I've been up in the Arch, I've been to Niagara Falls, I've been a lot of places in this country that I owe to trucking. And a lot of people, they're just like, and we've done a lot of things on this channel. I mean, a lot. Everything needs to be changed because of E-Logs. I'm running late right now because of an E-Log situation. I'm not actually running late, but like to do a 34, we're running late. To me, E-Log shouldn't exist. I think it needs to be a day-by-day scenario where you get 14 hours a day to drive, it just on a rolling clock. You want to take time off, take time off. And nobody should be able to tell you, hey, you got to work today. But for me personally, how tired I am today doesn't dictate how tired I am tomorrow. My driving today does not impact my driving tomorrow, per se. Does that make sense? Like, if I'm out here, I expect to drive. I expect to work. That's why I'm out here. That's like saying, someone at home on a normal job says, hey, I worked 7 days this week. So now I can't work on a Sunday or Saturday or, a Monday because I already got too much overtime this week. So, I can't work. Which brings me to, a side point of this step 4. And, we're working 70 hours a week, whether you like it or not. 60 to 70 for the average truck driver with no overtime pay. Grinding our way from society. Everyone else in this country gets overtime. Doctors get overtime. All the other big professions get overtime, but a truck driver, we don't get overtime. But it goes back to step 2 or 3, or I don't even remember what it was. We're the backbone of this country because the brokers are skimming off the top of loads, taking more than what they need to, giving shambles to the trucking companies, which then can't afford to pay us. I heard a long time ago that GP Transco used to give out all kinds of stuff to their new drivers back when the rates were good. Coats and backpacks and pens and pencils and I don't know, just a lot of swag. But recently it's been brought to my attention they had to stop doing that. And they had to stop doing a lot of things that they want to do. But they can't do it because they're worried about the longevity of said company. And as a owner of a company myself and an owner-operator mindset as a company driver, I 100% get why they have to do that. Because you have to have the stability in the company, because you can't just risk, it doesn't mean they don't want to do it. It just means they can't afford to do it because they have hundreds of thousands of employees. The stability of the company is more important than giving things away. But the problem is they shouldn't even be in that situation. The pay model in trucking is broken, y'all. You don't think these companies want to pay drivers hourly? If I had my own company and I had drivers, I'd want to pay them hourly. They should get paid hourly. Like I said, sacrifices, backbone of the country. But we're not. Because brokers and shippers want their stuff moved. And somebody's got to do it. Somebody's got to do it. Are you going to leave your house to go drive truck for 2 to 3 weeks, months at a time, to go move freight? No, you're not. Unless you're already a truck driver. The lifeblood of this country moves on trucks, y'all. Trains. I rode a train up from Dallas to Chicago. Train drivers are the same way. They sacrifice, they get, where they got to go on places to make things happen. Construction workers. Off topic though, so that's probably number 4, e-logs, amongst other things. I might have went off on a tangent there. But I'm trying to get y'all to understand, overall, trucking is a very rewarding job. Yes, there's a lot of difficult things, but there's also a lot of great things. We're going to end this on a positive note for Step 5. On a positive note, it's not going to be a negative nor a positive. It's just going to be a rant. So I apologize if you're not into that, but at least you got this beautiful Minnesota skyline to stare down on 90. So here we go, y'all. Trucking in itself is a very rewarding career. It is also a very difficult career. Trucking in itself has given me more than 3.5, basically we'll call it 4 years, than any other profession ever has. If you are strong enough mentally, and you come in with the right mindset, the right expectation, with everything so expensive the way it is, okay? I could not survive today without being a truck driver. Do I feel like I need to make more money? Yes. But it's really hard to make more money even as a company driver. This is what people don't understand. Someone like me who's been on the broker side, I've seen the loads. I still have access to the loads. I know what's out there. I know what it costs to run this freight. It costs, $700, depending on the fuel, $600 to $800 to fill this truck up every 1,000 miles. Plus you got insurance. Plus you got, if you got employees, you got overhead there. Plus you got maintenance. Running thousands of miles. You got to pay your drivers. And these brokers think that you could do that on $1.45 to $2 a mile. I don't know how much this load is that I'm on right now, but I'm willing to bet by bottom dollar it is under $1,500. If it was anything over $1,500, I would be surprised. But how much does the broker make on it? How much do other people make on it? Because the company, I guarantee you, is getting $1.50 to $1.20 a mile. And then they're going to turn around, maybe $2. They're going to turn around, they're going to give me 58 cents of that per mile because I drove it. That's what I make, 58 cents a mile. So they got to, meanwhile, take $1 a mile to keep the rest of the company afloat. You see the problem? And that's what's wrong with trucking, y'all. That is why trucking is also very rewarding and very
broken. You got people that don't care about our time. You got companies like GP that care enough, that respect you as a driver, but you got a lot of bad ones. Don't get me wrong, but you got a lot of bad ones. But why are they bad? Let's talk about that for a second. Why are the bad companies bad? I wonder why. Because are they really though? Maybe yes, maybe no. But when you take it in everything that I just said, they expect us to run at $1.50 to $2 a mile. Mind you, during COVID, it was $4 to $5 a mile. And I think that needs to become an industry standard, $5 a mile, because companies will keep going bankrupt and keep disappearing until there's nothing left of trucking, y'all. The government doesn't own trucks. Well, they probably do. But the majority of trucking is done on the private sector with people like me that have a small dream of starting a business. So if you're in the FMCSA, if you're in the government watching this video, I plead with you. Let's get some real change, y'all. Before the trucking sector dies. Because people can't afford to run it anymore. It's like if you had a bunch of money in your pocket and you started a company. Let's say you started a Speedway today. Or a restaurant. And that business model was no longer lucrative. Was no longer profitable. Would you keep doing it? If you had to bang your head against the wall every day to make something happen, eventually you're not going to bang your head against that wall anymore. You're just going to be like, I can't do it no more. Yes, it sucks. I got to close my business. But at the end of the day, you can't keep beating a dead horse. So for positive quote of the day, that's going to be, let's start real change, y'all. Put in the hashtag in the comments below this video, thank a trucker. Hashtag support real change. But this video's gone on long enough. And I really hope you guys enjoyed today's video and understand what I'm saying. Let the haters hate. But if you know, you know. So we're going to get on down the road to South Dakota. We'll probably finish just crossing the border. We're 81 miles out, so you'll probably get to see, like, the last 50 miles. And then we'll wrap this up in South Dakota. But that's the end, end of, the top 5 things that make it difficult, for truck driving. But also, it can be good. But please, I'm begging you, do not get into this industry if you think you're going to come out here and make money. Have it in here, y'all. Have it in here. I became a truck driver for one reason and one reason only. Because I wanted to provide for my country. This is my way of putting my stuff in my trailer and bringing it to the people of this country that really need it. It gives me a sense of pride. I felt that way with DoorDash, bringing people their food. I used to shop Instacart and bring people their groceries, elderly people who can't go shopping. I am Phoenix Rising. The great one and only. Rising up each and every day, folks. On the grind. On our way down to South Dakota for the first time. 2 continental 48 states left, Montana and Vermont. Where are we going next, y'all? Peace out, y'all.